Alrighty guys, so here we are taking a look at XRP for today's video. I have a really cool chart to share with you guys right off the bat for today, and what I wanted to share with you guys is just basically how XRP to me looks a lot like some prior market cycles that we've already seen. There is some differences, but I want to talk to you guys about how you're going to see a lot of the same type of similarities repeated in market cycles over time. And as we continue to watch for this, guys, we're just going to simply see if this continues to play out long term, even though there are some differences. Now, the biggest similarities that I do want you guys to understand here, which my opinion there are a lot, is if we come over here and take a look at XRP, what I wanted to share with you guys is really some analysis that I've already talked about. Most of you guys have probably remembered this, the Doge analysis that I've had, as well as this is a little bit more recent, and that is the Bitcoin analysis. So you guys remember in my last XRP update, pretty much what I talked about was how XRP's chart looks a lot like this part of the Bitcoin chart. How this is kind of like the double bottom formation. This is the first breakout in ascending triangle right here. And then this is this move here, indicated by the black box. And really what we're seeing between both of these charts is the same type of similarity. What Bitcoin did inside of this move back in 2015 was we had this short-term support in the bear market. Support, 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 support. Resistance, resistance, and then this became resistance when we were starting the new uptrend inside of the new bull cycle in the beginning of 2016. And so it was in this period at the very beginning of the bull cycle that we saw pretty much the same similarity here. Now, it was this major level. This was pretty much the biggest level on the chart because it was short-term support in the bull market. It became a heavy resistance inside of this short-term bull trend. But once we broke above it and flipped it as support, this is really when you had the go-ahead that, hey guys, the whole trend is flipped bullish. You know, there is no resistance left in our way. This thing is just going to trend up, and that's exactly what we saw happen inside of the price. Now, the same thing has been happening inside of XRP. We saw roughly the same sort of price structure here, where we had the short-term support level. It also acted as resistance, 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 and this is pretty much our main level in the XRP chart. Now, what we can see happened here is what we've done is we've uptrended for the last few months, we've broken above this level, and now we're falling back onto this level, except instead of it acting as resistance, which it has every time up to this point, I believe that this is going to hold as support, and this is just your classic example of a support and resistance flip. And so guys, this is roughly the same thing that we saw with Bitcoin. In fact, it's even the same type of technical pattern is what you would call it based off Elliott wave theory, where we see the A, the B, and the C. And it's kind of this little zigzag pattern that you're going to see often inside of cryptos. And this is the same pattern that XRP is doing right now. A, B, Z. Or C, I mean. And what's going to happen is, most likely, in my opinion, the dip's going to get bought up very fiercely. I think that that's actually what's happening right now. We're in the very early stages of a dip getting bought up. I think the bottom's in. You don't see these types of sell-offs inside of a bull market and it just not get bought up. And so, I mean, if you're confident that the bull trend is still strong and the top of the cycle isn't in, then really this correction should just be nothing more than a buying opportunity. In fact, that's all it is for me. I really haven't been worrying too much about the charts, haven't been worrying about a lot of stuff, just mainly because of the fact none of it matters in the grand scheme of things. It's not important to look at your portfolios over and over and over again. Focus on the losses that you might have, because overall, the number that you were focusing on before the sell-off was just an unrealized gain. It was an imaginary number. You never sold that profit. You never cashed that out into your bank account. You never realized any of that gain. And so whatever you had, these imaginary numbers that your computer tells you, your dollar valuations, your BTC valuations, Ether evaluations, whatever it is, all of this stuff really doesn't matter until you actually cash out that profit. And so the same can be applied with the losses. When you guys experience a massive loss inside of the crypto markets based off of just your account portfolio fluctuating because of the volatility, you shouldn't be so worried about what that number might dip down to, because at the grand scheme of things, guys, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys had a heck of a lot more money when XRP was worth $2 than you do with it worth $1. In fact, you have half as much. And so I'm sure a lot of you guys might be a little bit worried. I'm sure XRP holders are not worried because we've been through this rodeo before. The fact that we've done nothing but go up for the last year, I think, is pretty confident building that this dip will get bought up. I mean, overall, guys, this is the same type of market structure we've seen repeated a number of different times. In fact, one of the things I did want to bring up once again, we haven't talked about this in a little while, and that is actually Dogecoin. Dogecoin did the same pattern, although I will agree that it was much quicker. Dogecoin pumped up, we retested this previous resistance level because this was a strong level in Doge. It's pretty much the same level based off of the XRP chart, same level based off of the Bitcoin chart back in 2015, because these all follow the same cycles, right? And once we flipped this level on all of these charts, what happened shortly after? Well, Bitcoin went up, although it was much slower than Dogecoin went up. This is what we saw from Bitcoin, you know, a massive parabolic rally. And what we see here from Dogecoin, once again, massive parabolic rally. And so now that we're at the point here inside of XRP, guys, what do you guys think is going to happen? I mean, when we look at these charts, what do you guys think is going to happen? I mean, I think I make it pretty clear in what I think is going to happen, but at the end of the day, you know, all I can do is just explain my thoughts and perspectives. It, to me, just looks a lot like prior cycles I've seen play out, specifically Bitcoin. Because if you guys remember what I've talked about, based off of this XRP chart, let's dive into the shorter time frames here. So remember when I compared this to the Bitcoin chart, and what I said was this reminds me of Bitcoin when we made that ascending triangle, and this is the ascending triangle here, and then we had that first breakout, right? And at this first breakout, if we were looking at Bitcoin, this is when Bitcoin was worth $790, and it topped out, and we had this same exact type of pattern, this ABC correction, right? Now, based off of me comparing this to the Bitcoin chart, this right here would have been the same as 2015, or what I should say, 2016 Bitcoin, right when we had our halving. So let's make a line here, and let's just say that this was our halving. So this was the halving inside of Bitcoin in 2016, and I took all of my Bitcoin and went leverage right here. And then what happened was I was thinking that the market was just going to magically go up forever because the halving was here, the Bitcoin was going to go up, the supply shock, all of that crap. And then Bitcoin sold off and we made one more lower low. I got liquidated right here. That was where I got liquidated in my first Bitcoin holdings in the last cycle. And what I can see a lot of people doing is probably the same thing that, you know, I did in the last cycle, only you're doing it now with XRP, because this is the exact same chart, guys. It's honestly crazy how similar these two charts are. This looks exactly like the same type of ascending triangle formation that we saw with Bitcoin. This breakout in ABC is almost exactly the same as what we saw with Bitcoin. In fact, this is more volatile because it's XRP. So, I mean, in this sell-off, we've had, you know, a 68% sell-off. This is a Poloniex chart, so I mean, how realistic can you really be with this one? But regardless, guys, I do believe that now that we're sitting on higher time frame support, I mean, look at this chart. When we zoom out here, let's get a better line. Let's get a better line tool drawn in here. When we zoom out at this chart, notice how this is a pretty strong level here. This is a level we've reacted to a number of different times. It's been resistance for a very long period of time. Notice how we're perfectly falling right back onto support of that. Do you guys really think that the smart money isn't buying this dip? I mean, do you guys really think that after how long has been this period of time in which we've been consolidating below this level? Let's just say here. So from the point of us breaking it, it's been over 1,000 days in which we've trended below this level here, guys. And do you guys really think that for the first time ever, once we've broken this massive resistance, massive accumulation range, that smart money isn't going to be buying support of that flip? I mean, that's the way I look at it, guys. I like to break things down really simple. And if I was smart money, which I like to believe I'm pretty smart, I would be buying this dip. I mean, funny thing is, I'm not even buying the dip. I've already bought all of my XRP that I want to at this point. But if you guys are looking for a pretty good risk-to-reward ratio setup, anytime you get a massive sell-off right back onto trending support on the higher time frames, that's about all you can ask for when it comes to looking for a good trade. The risk is in your favor because of the fact it's retesting a higher time frame support. You know, we just had this massive sell-off, so you guys already know, you know, you always want to be buying the dip. And so I honestly am really bullish on XRP in every single way. I wanted to give you guys this quick update as just a way to cover some of the prior market cycles. We talked about Doge. I've compared that fractal before. We talked about Bitcoin in my last video. I compared that fractal. I wanted to give you guys both of these kind of at the same time to share with you guys the similarities in which we could see. Regardless, you know, this is a weekly time frame. I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting some weekly candles in here. that really start to minimize this entire sell-off as we break back and above and start going upwards of these all-time highs, because that's the next area of resistance for XRP. Strongly believe that that's where we're headed from here. We're going to have a massive parabolic rally to close out this year. Very confident in saying that. So I just want you guys to be aware of this. Let's dive into the Bitcoin pair of XRP really quickly before we wrap things up so that you guys know exactly what I think is happening across that chart as well. So when we come over here and take a look at the XRP BTC chart, there's a couple really cool things that I wanted to share with you guys. Now we are at a very important point inside of the chart. Now there's a couple different levels that I wanted to analyze that actually converge at the exact same moment in time. And that moment in time is exactly where we're at. So first things first, notice this resistance level that I have drawn here. Now I'm basically just taking the wicks of the Poloniex chart. Notice all of these wicks. I tried to just fit them as much as I could. And so what we can see here is we've had this trend line, this resistance line, right? Notice how every single time price wicks up and hits this and we get rejected. And this has happened a number of different times throughout here. Well, what we've recently done is we've had price technically break above this level. Now, this isn't something I would confirm as a breakout because there's really no severity inside of this move. We're pretty much just consolidating right at resistance, which either way is a lot more of a bullish setup. Now, you guys can have deviation. Sometimes price will short-term break above and then it'll break back below and fake everybody out. That is possible as well. But another thing that can happen is when you do experience the very beginning of a bull trend and price starts to uptrend and break out, you'll see prices consolidating right at resistance. And this is what will happen right before we do get a breakout on the upside. And so where we're at right now, guys, we have technically pierced out of this descending resistance, and so that's a very bullish sign. Now, another bullish sign that I wanted to give you guys that actually converge at this exact same point is actually this horizontal support line. So if you guys come down here and notice how both of these points intercross right here. So this is simply that there's a pretty strong resistance level. Now prices are breaking out and about of that. Now prices are actually breaking outside of that. That tells me that this resistance is most likely weakening. Now, when we also compare this support level, notice how this was a support for the last few months that we had, and then it became resistance, and then we sold below that, right? We've rejected off of this level a couple different times. We've held above it as support. This is a pretty strong level that, in my opinion, was really the first level that we needed to break above for us to get any type of continuation inside of a new bull trend. And so what we've done from that point, we had this massive sell-off after the SEC lawsuit. Now we're actually breaking above this level and we're holding it as support. And so not only are we breaking it and not only are we breaking outside of this descending resistance, but we're actually holding support of this level right here. And this has been pretty much the most important level that I've been watching for. This resistance is one that I pretty much just drew up here just when I was recently looking at it before I made this video. But the interesting part is that they're converging at this exact same point in time, which makes me feel like this is actually a lot more bullish than people might think. Now, with the trend line, they're not the most accurate forms of analysis anyways, because it's not like you can draw one exact line and let that be the end-all do-all of the chart. And the same can be said about one horizontal line as well. But whenever you can apply both of them and then they can kind of converge at the same point in time, that's when you get, you know, overlapping of bullish indicators. And whenever you can get more analysis, more data points explaining a specific area of interest, then that's going to give you guys a much clearer perspective on what's actually happening in the chart. And so that's really what we're seeing right now inside of the XRP Bitcoin chart. And so now that I'm at this point in time, I do believe that support's most likely going to hold, just because of the fact what we can see against the dollar pair is us sitting on higher time frame support. And if the Bitcoin pair is also doing the exact same thing, then chances are, after that massive sell-off we just saw, if the Bitcoin pair is holding strong, I don't really think that the Bitcoin pair is going to end up going any lower. I think that this is deviation before we go up. Our next resistance level on this chart is going to be upwards of about 11,000 Satoshis. So about here at this green line. We should see a quick pump up to that level. We're going to watch and see, and I'll keep you guys updated as always. But I just want to give you guys this analysis as a way to touch up on XRP. We are seeing some nice price action today. A lot of green in the charts. It makes sense because we are sitting on this massive level. I wanted to give you guys this analysis as a way that for people that are looking for a pretty safe entry, people that are kind of questioning what to do with their XRP. Maybe you're a little bit worried. You know, you guys watched yourself make a ton of profit as it went up to $2, but you didn't didn't take any and it sold off. A lot of people were probably panicking throughout that period of time, but regardless, guys, I think that this dip is going to get bought up. We're going to see V bottoms across the market and on our way to our all-time highs. And so if we hold, we continue to hold strong throughout this, I'm telling you guys, I believe we're going to make a lot more money if we just continue to stick to our plan, which has always been the end of the year. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found value, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you guys want to join the Discord server, links are in the description as well to join up for that. On top of that, guys, you can download my free ebook and my beginner's guide to cryptocurrency, understand how to actually make a little bit better gains inside the market. And did I mention that's free, not going to cost you anything, so go ahead and check that out. And with all that being said, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you so much. I look forward to watching you guys make all of this profit with XRP, because I know how much of you guys have been supporting this channel from the very beginning. All the XRP supporters of this channel, there are a lot. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the positivity, and I just look forward to watching you all make a lot of profit. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and with that being said, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.